Can you return it if it never left?
Wow. Mic drop. Mic drop.
All that actually means is people are constantly macking on you, actually, is what that means.
Or that I'm the Mac.
She's the Mac.
Oh, you're constantly macking on others.
She's the Mac.
All right.
That's how you know you got game. When you macking on somebody and they don't even know it.
That's right.
They don't even know they being macked on.
They don't even have a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just spitting game.
A poll question is up at Unsports ESPN. More first kisses took place in a movie theater or basement? I think it's going to end up being basement.
Probably.
But there's so many people that didn't grow up with a basement.
I know, but that doesn't mean
everybody went to the movies. There's so many people that didn't have a basement.
You're right. I'm not saying you're wrong on that,
Okay.
but we'll see what the answer is here. So we heard the audio there about Russell Wilson. Adam Schefter first reported that he was going to Cleveland for a visit, and then yesterday, and then today to the Giants. He did go to Cleveland for a visit. He supposedly was there for 5 hours. He left, and he's en route, or probably already here, in New York to meet with the Giants. The Browns let him walk out of the building. CC, you said yesterday if you were Andrew Berry, the general manager in Cleveland, he's not leaving. I'm getting a contract done. He's a perfect bridge quarterback for me. We all sat here and said, most importantly, high character. They need to get back to the high character players all around that building. And we played out that scenario of imagine if they have Russ. Imagine if they have Travis Hunter. Imagine if they take Jalen Milroe in the second round. And the who of the Cleveland Browns and what that becomes in terms of the character guys, obviously, after Watson was there. They let him walk out of the building. Was that a mistake?
Yeah, it was, in my opinion, because the Cleveland Browns need Russell Wilson more than any of the other teams that are involved. They need him more than the Pittsburgh Steelers. They need him more than the New York Giants because both New York and Pittsburgh are in on Aaron Rodgers. And, oh, by the way, the Pittsburgh Steelers did sign Mason Rudolph yesterday, and this is a quarterback that started a playoff game for him once upon a time. So it feels like if you're the Cleveland Browns, you don't have a plan for a quarterback that will allow you to entertain the possibility of being a playoff team in 2025 beyond Russell Wilson. So to me, allowing him to leave was a misstep by Andrew Berry, their general manager.
I know he probably wants to check out all of his options and make a decision that's best for him and his football life and, of course, his family as well. But I would think for him, the idea of playing in Cleveland would be better than playing in New York. But you said the Cleveland Browns need him more than any of the other options on the board. And I would disagree with that. I would think the Pittsburgh Steelers are in a better chance to actually compete this season. And I would consider Russell Wilson to be a better option than Aaron Rodgers. That's from where I sit. You at least know what you're getting with Russ. Whereas with Aaron Rodgers, you're hoping you get a version of him, both on and off the field, that we haven't seen in quite some time. It's a huge gamble. Whereas at least with Russ, you can hedge, you know what to expect, you know what his limitations are, you know where he excels. And if I'm Pittsburgh with all of this consternation surrounding my franchise and the fact that we don't have a quarterback, I would think that they would have more of a sense of urgency to retain Russ than Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't want to mince words, but I think it's important in this case because of, again, the who. I think you just said that he would want Cleveland over New York. I think he'd want New York over Cleveland, but he'd want the Browns over the Giants. And the reason I do it that way is
market, not franchise.
Well, yeah, because also he has an extremely successful significant other who can work anywhere. She's a megastar in Sierra, but maybe their lives together are better suited if she can walk to a huge business meeting versus fly to a huge business meeting that she may have. Not that you can't have that in Cleveland. Cleveland's an amazing town, an unbelievable group of sports fans and businesses. But when you're in the entertainment business, as she is, New York and LA are obviously, or London or whatever, are the capitals. And I do think that has to play some factor in it. He seems like a wonderful family man. I don't know Russ personally that like that. I've interviewed him, but not like that. I do think we have to factor that in. Like, that's the difference with Rodgers, right? Rodgers doesn't have, to my knowledge, the significant other that would play a role in all of this. Russ, factually does, right? I mean, that has to play a role in this, does it not?
No, it absolutely does. And we keep talking about players in the twilight of their careers prioritizing quality of life a lot more than they otherwise would, right? We've had those conversations with LeBron James. We've had those conversations with Aaron Rodgers. We've had those conversations with all of the all-time great athletes. Matt Stafford is the most recent one. So, yeah, I think that has to be weighted in all of this. But as this thing continues to go on, the fact that they weren't able to get a deal done yesterday, knowing how much flexibility that gives the Cleveland Browns, it makes me wonder if Russell Wilson is still holding out hope that he can end up back in Pittsburgh. It makes me feel like Russ is trying to create more leverage against the Steelers to get them to move closer to his position. Because the longer this thing draws out, the more uncomfortable Pittsburgh has to be with the uncertainty, given where they're at in the draft order and given what the options are in the quarterback marketplace, because all of a sudden, now you're putting all your eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket if all of these other quarterbacks end up signing elsewhere, including Russell Wilson. So it's starting to feel a little bit like Russ is doing this to take back control of the spin when it comes to his free agency.
I tell you what I'm doing today if I'm Pittsburgh, is I'm getting him back in the building. That's it. It's over. I understand there may have been some hiccups. I understand there may have been some disagreements on play calling stuff with Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator. There's not disagreements about, like, I hate your guts. Because that's clear, because they at least would consider him, right? It's not like we can't work together. I'm going out there, and I'm keeping Kyle Juszczyk in the building, who's visiting there, the fullback from the Niners. I'm going to go out there and find one of these other wide receivers, whether it's Steph Diggs on a prove-it contract. Maybe I'm throwing my hat into the Cooper Kupp conversation. Whatever offensive linemen are available, I am going to make Russell Wilson's job so easy this year, because last year I probably asked him to do a little too much at this point in his career. I already got DK, who yesterday, literally at the press conference, is saying, I just got engaged. One of the first people I called was Russ.
Yep. Who introduced them.
DK
and Armani were introduced by Sierra.
Boy, did DK come off unbelievable yesterday.
He was great.
What oh, my God. I fell in love with that guy yesterday. What awesome. A wonderful guy. Jeez. But, like, I'm making his job so damn easy, and that's how I'm going to approach this year. And, oh, by the way, I'm going to, if Shedeur slips one spot lower than I thought he would, I'm going to get him. I'm doing that too. I'm doing all of this. Just do it. Just stop waiting for Rodgers. And we're going to get to the Rodgers part. I think Aaron Rodgers has told you he doesn't want to play for the Steelers. Now, he may have to, but I think he's told you he doesn't want to play for the Steelers. We'll get to that in a little bit here, because I don't understand what's going on there as to why he wouldn't have gone there by now. But Pittsburgh is playing with fire.
Big time.
You both just said, like, Cleveland shouldn't allow him out of the building, but he's out. So go get him. Russell Wilson will not choose the New York Giants over the Pittsburgh Steelers, despite what I just said about significant other stuff.
No, he won't.
So go. What are they waiting for?
You know what they're waiting for.
Okay, why are they waiting for?
That's the part I don't know. That's the question I can't answer, because apparently what they saw and what I saw last year wasn't the same thing. I saw a quarterback in Aaron Rodgers who was bad when it mattered and average when it didn't. I saw a quarterback in Aaron Rodgers who led a team to a 5-12 record when he started all 17 games, and the organization, same core of players 2 years ago, had a better record when he got hurt 4 plays into the season. I don't understand why Pittsburgh looks at Aaron Rodgers as the guy that can change their fate when it comes to playoff football.
I also don't understand why the Pittsburgh Steelers would be so in on a guy that the New York Jets are so willing to get rid of. The Jets.
Well, that's tricky, because Geno, Sam Darnold, it's not apples to apples, but the Jets have a track record of getting rid of quarterbacks.
No, but here's the difference, though. The Jets gave Aaron Rodgers carte blanche, turned over control of the franchise to him in a way that I don't know that we've ever seen before. And he ran it into the ground. I mean, it was already pretty bad, but he made it worse.
Correct.
Nobody anticipated that. And they said, you know what? Rather than trying to figure this out, we're going to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, and we're going to prioritize signing the guy in free agency that you had on the bench last year in Justin Fields. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, that should give you a little cause for pause, too.
Big time.
It's unbelievable. We're sitting here, we're saying, what are the Steelers waiting for with Russ? We're also saying, what are the Browns waiting for? Russell Wilson, on our show at least, has become the target of who these teams should get, and not Aaron Rodgers. We're on Sportsman.
Chào cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn làm vòng, và hôm nay của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là cánh hồng. Mọi người, hôm nay vòng của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là gà rán. Bây giờ mình bắt đầu làm nhé.